Hi there. Date is Tuesday, November 30th. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the week 47 Return to Creativity update with Jennifer Vanderbeek of scrapsoflife.com. So, yeah, wow. To my to my US viewers, hello, hi, how are you? How was your Thanksgiving? To everyone else who's not in the United States and or does not participate in American Thanksgiving, how was your weekend? How was your week? Um, do anything fun, interesting, creative? Did you do something just for you? So we went to Kentucky this past week to visit my aunt. She has a house on a lake just above the Tennessee Kentucky border. And we had never been up there. She's been up there for years, but we just thing about Todd and I, our work usually demands that we're there right up to holidays because there's so much stuff to take care of. And this year, after 2 years of missed holidays because of COVID and other illnesses and just schedules and people traveling hither and yon, we decided to go ahead and go. My of course schedule, of course, is a lot freer these days. Um, and so I asked Todd if he thought he'd be able to take off the time, and he did. So we set out Tuesday evening after he got off of work, drove about halfway, and then did the rest of the trip on Wednesday morning. And then we drove the whole thing back on Sunday. And that was interesting. It wasn't too bad. I mean, there was a lot of traffic because it was post-holiday traffic. And we kind of knew it was going to be like that, but yeah, it was interesting. And Duncan, this was our first long ride trip with Duncan, the first time we've ever had him in the car for more than an hour. And he did really, really well. He was unsure of things on that first leg of the trip. For the first couple of hours, he would put his feet up and was like trying to, like be on the console. We had, of course, in a harness and clipped to the seatbelt thing, and all. But yeah, it's It's, but after that, he, like, settled down, did okay. His first time in a hotel room, that was another first for Mr. Duncan, and, we did okay with him until about 4 a.m. when the people next door had to get up and leave for work or whatever, or that was, when they were leaving. So, yeah, that wasn't so fun. I was also unsure how Duncan would do with a house full of people and other dogs. We had 8 people and 5 dogs. And Duncan actually did really well. He acclimated amazingly well. My aunt said that he was welcome back anytime, so I am quite happy about that. He did not disgrace himself or us. She owns 2 of the dogs of the 5. So yeah, and it was good to see family. It was good to hang out. We did the usual holiday dinner stuff, except apparently last year they decided that nobody was really all that jazzed about turkey, so they decided to do a prime rib, and they did it in their smoker. And I was like, "Wait, hold up." Because I hadn't heard about that part. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's fine. I'm like, I'm not a big prime rib fan, or at least I haven't been in the past. Where you get the meat from matters because she actually had 2 separate 5-pound prime rib roasts. And one had a bigger, larger fat cap on it, the other, less so. And yeah, and then the smoking, it just changed everything. Now I kind of want a smoker, but hold off. I did not immediately purchase one. Yay for impulse control. Speaking of impulse control, managed to fit between the emotional buoys all week. There were no real dust ups. I had some personal wobbles, but that mostly came from one day I forgot to take one of my meds first thing in the morning. I was off my schedule. and it happened. And but I talked about it with my therapist when I had therapy yesterday. Yeah, I was smart. I scheduled therapy for the day after we got back so that if needed, we could deal. Fortunately, it was all good. Yeah. Coffee good. Decaf, of course, but still tasty. So, yeah, so that all went well. I even got a little bit of writing done while I was in Kentucky. Not a lot, because while I had my gear with me, it was not an ideal writing situation. I mean, there was people and dogs and things to do, and you know, had we been there longer or just any other time of the year, it might have been different. And I said, okay, I got to go write or I got to go work or something. But, no, I got a couple thousand words in, and then yesterday I managed to kick butt, and I wrote over 7,000 words yesterday, and I've broken 10K on book 3. So that's really awesome, I think. My only concern is that the beginning of the book might be a little too fast this time. One of my beta readers said that the first 20 pages of book 1 was a little slow, and so I worked to kind of tighten that up and fix some of the pacing. But now I'm worried that like I rushed the beginning on book 3. But book 3 of a series, you don't need to spend all that time world and character building. Your main people are there. So yeah, I'm just kind of I'm gonna see how it shakes out, and if I need to go rearrange some things and build up some parts and not. But this is a slightly more involved story, I think. It feels like there's more for the main character to explore and deal with, but I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes, and I may, have to really round out the story with some subplots, which I can absolutely do. I've kind of started working some of that in yesterday. So, in other news, I did get a lot of knitting done, both in the car and, occasionally when we be sitting around, just kind of chilling out with the fam. And I am very, very near completion on the magical thinking pullover shawl. I'm actually this black section that I'm starting. Well, it's not really black; it's like a charcoal, but this is the border that I'm starting right here. So this is the last section. I have. Oh, let's see. Where did I stop? One, two, three, four. I've knitted 4 rows of the border section. And so I have 12. I have 8 rows, 8 rounds left to do, and this glorious thing will be done. Let me stand up. Maybe you can get an idea. I don't want to drop any stitches. But yeah, so it goes over the head, and this is the cowl neck part, and then it will kind of cascade to one side. You can see it kind of grows out this way. Yes, and I'm trying to be very careful so that I do not drop any stitches. Um, please no, please no. Okay, everything is good. Yay. I really enjoyed this project. It was a great project to have on the road because the repeats are simple. Um, the patterning, there's a lot of repeated patterning, so it's like once you get past the first section of something, you're like, oh, okay, we're back, we're going to do that again, but just in a different color. Like, we have these kind of lacy openings here, and they're how they're created. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, no, we've done this. And it's really forgiving because I did earlier on, I had dropped some stitches and I recovered them as best I could, but I ended up with an extra stitch on one half of the pattern. Because there is that section that grows, so you have markers that shows where the increases go every other row. And so I just rolled with it. I didn't rip back. I didn't skip an increase, because then that would probably be more obvious in that case than wherever I picked up that extra stitch when I tried to fix my bobble, not the stitch bobble, but the oops. So yeah, I foresee finishing that this week. And so I will be looking forward to wearing that sometime in the near future. Yeah, that's cool. Um, Aside from that, I would just like to say that as we're on the cusp of the last month of the year, as we near the end of 2021, this has been a hugely transformative year for me. Um, and I I am profoundly grateful for the opportunities I've had, thanks to Todd. Um, allowing me, facilitating me, to work from home these last 5 months. But even before that, I was starting to make changes in my life, and I am at the point now where I do not fear living unapologetically me. Um, I don't feel like a different person. I feel like I finally know what it is to be comfortable in my own skin, like more than just in a certain circumstance or in a certain place or with a certain person. Like I it's hard to explain. I'm trying. I hope this makes sense. But it's not that I'm looking to make waves or shock people, um, or to give a middle finger to the world at large. I have just stopped apologizing and making and making excuses for me being the way I am, because there's nothing wrong with the way I am. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were there's that word again. Um, I have issues. I have things that I have to deal with. There's trauma in my past that I am continually unraveling and resetting. I have a frontal lobe issue that is the root of my ADHD, and that's not something that's just gonna go away. If anything, it developed over the last several years as my body changed, as my hormones shifted. And it is something that I have to deal with now, but I am dealing with it. Eh, But in but the entire process has not been one of fixing myself. It has been accepting myself, accepting that how I think, how I act, how I react, how I feel is valid. And that is something that one way or another I've been told or felt my entire life was wrong. And so getting to that point in my life is major. Sure, it is huge. And it has been the last year, starting therapy, since understanding my brain. And I can only hope that I can retain this sense of self and I can continue to live unapologetically as me and not what I perceive that society expects me. Because society is flawed. Society is deeply flawed, but we do the best we can. I'm not going to go off and, exempt myself from society, because that's not me. I want to be in society. I want to be around other people, but I want the ability to choose and gather the people around me. And I am that 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 appreciate me for who I am and not for who I try to be, or who I try, or the way I try to fit myself into their pegs. I am not a square peg in a round hole anymore. I'm a square peg, slightly rounded edges, thanks to meds and therapy and coping mechanisms. But I've made my own square hole rather than trying to fit into somebody else's round hole anymore. So, if I can do anything, if I had one wish right now in this moment, I wish that everyone watching this, and even those who aren't, is able to live unapologetically as their true selves without censure or fear, as long as they're hurting nobody. I mean, let's keep that caveat. Just be good, be safe, but be good to yourself. All right. I'll see you next month. It'll be December. Bye.